Handling, training and flying birds of prey really is a very specialist and niche hobby. It carries its own risks, essentially because birds have wings that they can use to fly to heights and distances that we humans cannot reach, and because they are predators and they quite like to kill things sometimes. And those two main reasons mean that the learning that we do as falconers is really extra vital. And there are lots of different elements to falconry that we learn, and of course there are lots of rules, if you like. Now, I have for some years had one rule that I call the first rule of falconry, and you might have your own rule that you would put right at the top of that list, and if you do, please comment below. I'd love to hear what you think your opinion of the first rule of falconry is. But for me, I have one simple phrase that encompasses quite a bit actually. So in my opinion, the first rule of falconry is never trust the birds. Let me give you a few examples of where trusting your bird too much could lead to be a bit of a problem. Now, we do say that when we're training birds and we're manning them, a bit like I'm doing with Athena, the eagle here, who's nibbling at the glove a little bit, that trust is really important. You want the bird to trust you as much as possible, and of course, likewise, we want to trust the bird as well. However, if we trust our birds too much, it could lead to the bird becoming lost, or perhaps injuring itself, or something like that. So let me give you a couple of examples. Let's say you had a particular bird, it could be an owl or hawk, whatever, and you've had it from a young age, and you've been flying it free regularly without ever being distracted. It's never flown off, it's never fallen asleep in a tree, it's never chased any prey. It's just been one of those birds that just flies to your glove wherever you are and whenever it is during the day, etc. And you've been putting on that little transmitter, and every single time you fly it, you put that transmitter on with a charged battery, you've checked it's working properly, and you're confident that even if the bird did disappear, you can track it. Well, after 5 or 10 years of flying that bird, you might then think, well, why not bother putting a transmitter on? The bird never goes anywhere. And you start to get a little bit complacent. You start to not worry too much about how fresh the battery is on the transmitter and things like that. And then one day, of course, it's possible that bird that you've been flying for so long, that's been so brilliant, actually gets distracted by something random one day and flies off into the distance. And you try and track it and you realise, oh, I've not charged the battery properly. That's an example of putting too much trust in your bird. You're trusting that it will never fly off and not do what it should. Another quick example is the safety grips. Never ever for even a moment not have a correct grip on the bird, even for a few seconds, assuming that, well, look, the chances of it flying or baiting suddenly, as we call it, at that point is so minimal, because that's when something could go wrong. So by encompassing that never trust the birds entirely rule, it can really help you avoid any problems in the future. A bit like how I don't fully trust Athena here not to nibble my face. She's only being playful and inquisitive, but that is a very big sharp beak. The double-layered eagle glove, she can nibble that a little bit if she wants. I prefer it if she left my face alone, so I am very cautious when I handle her to avoid that. So yes, please, any rules you have on your list, please comment below. And what is your first rule of falconry?